What's going on, guys? So I think that today's episode is going to be really helpful, especially if you struggle with prioritizing what's a great task to accomplish, or if you're trying to focus on being more productive over busy. We don't want to use the B word anymore. Busy's not good, but we want to be productive. This is going to be really great, so pay close attention, okay? Now, I actually learned this technique from a well-known business consultant. His name is Dan Locke, and I've used this with myself, I've used this with other clients as well. It's pretty simple, and it also will help you to take some time to actually reflect on the state of your business, okay? So it's going to be important, so pay close attention, guys. So what you want to do is, I like to have a dry erase board. I've got about 4 on my wall right now, but if you got a piece of paper, break it down into 4 different categories. I'm going to step off so you guys can see it a little bit better. Break it down into 4 separate categories, exactly like how I have it. Okay? At the top of each category is going to be a certain topic, a certain theme for your business. So your first category is going to be lead generation. Your second one is going to be PMP, or personal media platform. I'm going to talk about what that means. Your third category is going to be money now, and your last category is going to be money later, okay? So now that you've taken some time, first of which, to draw out your 4 categories, you've got lead generation, PMP, personal media platform, money now, and money later. What do these actually mean, and how are they going to help you be more productive? So let's take this first one, okay? Lead generation. Now, obviously, in any business, we need leads, okay? Leads turn into potential prospects. Prospects turn into clients, okay? Or customers, but clients is a lot better terminology, and it's a little bit more intimate too, but clients, customers, business at the end of the day. What are you doing now in your business to generate leads, okay? What are you doing currently to generate leads? And now, let me put up a couple of examples, okay? So maybe I'm not going to say I'll put up 3, because if I run out of ideas, it's going to look crazy on my part. But lead generation. Let's say on your website, let's say you've got a lead magnet, okay? Let's say you've got a lead magnet, you've got let's say a downloadable PDF, okay? That would count as lead generation, because what would happen is that, someone goes, potential person or client goes to your website, and what they do is that they see a PDF that you have. Let's say that you have a healthcare business, okay? Or maybe let's say you're a personal trainer. Let's say that you created a lead generating PDF entitled, 10 ways to lose 10 pounds in 10 days. Something like that. That can be a downloadable PDF. So someone would enter their email address in, their first name as well, or whatever the case may be. They enter in some kind of contact information so that you can consider them as a lead, okay? So let's say you've got the lead magnet. I'm doing a lot of spinning around. But you've got a lead magnet. Let's say that you've got a newsletter maybe. Okay, you can send out weekly, monthly emails, or whatever the case may be, whatever seems more effective. You've got a newsletter. Let's see, another lead. Let's say that you're doing a webinar, okay? If you do a webinar, people have to register for that webinar. So that contact information, if it's allowed, now obviously we have to have the consent, always have consent. But, if they opt in for the webinar, if they register for the webinar, that contact information is a form of lead generation, okay? So that would be your lead generation. So take some time first to break down, what are you currently doing in your business to generate leads? That's going to be important, okay? What are you currently doing now to generate leads? Now, the personal media platform, or the PMP, this can be likened to all of the current platforms that you are on, okay? So this could be social media, for example. That's usually the easiest one. So let's say you've got a LinkedIn, more spinning. Let's say you've got a LinkedIn, okay? Let's say you promote your business on LinkedIn. Let's say that you're running Facebook ads, so you've got Facebook as well. Let's say you've got a YouTube channel that you're doing. Let's say that you've got a blog, And let's say that you've got a podcast. Okay, not saying that you have to have all these, not all areas might not be that effective. It's going to be important to test these things out, of course. But, let's say that this is your personal media platform. So these are kind of like the areas that are going to be accessible by potential prospects. Okay, these are your platforms. These are where you promote. These are where you are active on. These are where prospects can find you. That's basically what could be in the PMP, the personal media platform. Does a website count? Not necessarily. It can and it can't as well. It kind of depends on your perspective. As you'll see with a lot of these categories, it depends on how your perspective, but primarily anything that is kind of more active. If someone needs to learn more about you, or they want to kind of just find more tidbits from you, more advice, more guidance from you, they can go to these personal media platforms that you have. They're all personal media, and that's where they can learn more about you, your service, and make an educated decision on, what's next. What should I do? Should I reach out, or should I learn a little bit more? Whatever the case may be. So list out all of your personal media platforms, okay? Money now and money later. So it's kind of the difference between being tactical and being strategic. Tactical is more of what can we do now to grow the business? We have to do this now to bring in money, to improve cash flow, whatever the case may be. But what can we do now to bring in money? And being strategic is what can we do to make sure that we're bringing in money in the long term, okay? So that's something that we have to consider as well. So what do we have currently that can give us, if we need money now, we can develop that right now? Do we have maybe an online shop? And this is just an example. Let's say you've got an online shop. So if someone, and now we're still sticking with the physical, the personal trainer. If someone doesn't want to necessarily do like a one-on-one coaching call with you, do you have an online shop that maybe offers, workout plans, purchasable workout plans? Is that possible? Do you have video series that someone can maybe buy? And instead of working with you one-on-one, they have some kind of avenue of working with you. These can be areas of money now, but that also, if you think about it, they could also be areas of money later too, because those can be just, if you put them up on your website, they can be long-term ways to continuously have revenue. If someone can't really afford your rate, for instance, you've got different avenues that way. Money now, can you put out some kind of discount? And usually my perception on this is, whatever's money now is money that we can, tactics that we can put into place to help us to accrue money within the next 30 to 90 days. I like to say 90 days. And money later would kind of be a little bit more long-term than that. And that's usually been the best, I should say the easiest way to describe this process if you're trying to figure out the distinction between the two. Now, money now, what else can we implement now? Can we do like a flash sale? Okay, a flash sale that helps us to, get money now, get business now, a discount, 25% off, 50% off for the next, 2 to 3 days, or, for the weekend. Or I know I've met with one person, it was recently, July 4th weekend, and they did like a flash sale. So I think from July 1st to July 4th, they were running like a really great deal. Okay, so that's another way to bring in, money now. And money later, a lot of times, especially when it comes to, side hustlers and solopreneurs, it can be a challenge to think strategically and think long-term, especially if you're just starting out. You're more focused on, okay, I need money now. I'm not really thinking about the long-term, I need money now. But when it comes to sustainability of a business, if you want your business to continuously last more than just a week, it's going to be very important to focus on the long-term and be strategic, okay? So, but let's say that we don't have anything in the money later. We haven't thought about anything, and we're not really being strategic, okay? When you look at this whole four categories, we look at the full spectrum of things. After you've included everything that you're doing for lead generation, you've included everything that you're doing for your personal media platform, for your money now and your money later, take a step back and look at it, okay? Look at this board. Do we see it overweighted in certain areas, okay? Do we see some areas that need improvement? That's what this whole board is really helping us to focus on. And any task that we think would be essential, we want to make sure that it falls into one of these categories, okay? We have to make sure it falls into one of these categories because that'll help us really determine if something is important, okay? Important to do, if it's worth it or not. And obviously there's testing that's involved. Don't get me wrong, there's always testing that's involved, but it's important to really reflect on what are we currently doing now so that we can figure out what we need to do in the future, okay? So when you look at this board, we see some issues already, okay? We see some issues. Let's say we don't have anything. So we're right here, we're not having anything in money later. We can already tell that we're not being strategic, okay? So we need to think of ways to really come up with those strategies that help us to think more in the long term, to make sure that the business is sustainable in the long term. We've got two areas for money now. Now, let's say, for instance, this was high. Let's say we had 10 things in this category, but nothing in this category. If we're always being tactical, a lot of times we're being more reactive in the background than proactive, okay? You know, reactive is just trying to just catch up. Like every month is a struggle, it's a challenge, and we're just trying to keep our heads and our business above water, okay? But if we had more areas, let's say we had 10 categories of money later, but we had nothing of money now, it's great to think strategically, but we've got no cash flow. We've got no money coming in. The business isn't going to be growing, or it's slowly dying, because some of these strategies can take up, like I said, this could be 90 days plus on, you know, just depending on how you look at it. You could even look at this as, you know, within the next 6 months, you know, to over 6 months. You know, if we've got so much over here but nothing over here, we've got no cash flow, we've got no way to make money now, and by the time we get to try to implement these strategies, the business might not be running. So it's something to consider. Now let's look at over here. Let's say our personal media platform is too light. Let's say we only had one category, okay? And we're wondering why we're not getting clients as fast. Well, we don't have many avenues for potential prospects to see us. We've got to be seen. We've got to be out there. That's where the marketing comes into play too. So you want to have multiple streams of personal media platform. Now, does it have to be all of these? It could be more, it could be less, but we want everything overall to be relatively balanced, okay? But let's say, for instance, I had 10 things here. Okay, I had 10 items here in the personal media platform, but I only had one item or no items in the lead generation. If we've got multiple items here, but we've got nothing else to show for it, we're trying to be more of an Instagram influencer. We're trying to be more of an influencer where we just look good to people, but the business isn't growing as a result. You know, we want everything that we do for the business, whether it's the LinkedIn, the YouTube, a podcast, whatever, we want it to contribute to the business's growth, okay? Not just look good. Obviously, you want to have that positioning. You want to have that authority. But we want to do everything for the business to grow the business in the long term. So we have to take into consideration how balanced we are with our personal media platform. Is every avenue really working out? Can there be any adjustments? A blog might not be better, but we might get more traction off a podcast. A podcast might not do it, but a YouTube might do it better. So we've got to be aware of that. And obviously, if we look at our lead magnets, if we've only got, 1 or 0, we're not going to be bringing in multiple leads. And like I said before, if we're not bringing in leads, then we don't have any prospects, okay? If we don't have prospects, we don't have any potential clients, okay? So think of different ways to generate new leads. Can we branch off and do a webinar? Can we have a newsletter? Can we have some kind of landing page where we, give tremendous value in exchange for contact information? Consensual, obviously, but, can we, or what can we implement? What can we put into place so that we can gain and grow consistently with our leads? Okay. So if you do these 4 categories, any idea that you have, any goal that you have, or any type of task that you want to implement in your business, make sure it falls into one of these categories. And once you add it to one of these categories, make sure that you're pretty equally weighted. Now, is 25% the ideal? It may not be. It depends on what categories you have, but at the end of the day, we want to be weighted pretty much equally, as best as possible. Having items tactically for money now, strategically for money later, having a nice, solid, effective personal media platform, and also having multiple ways to generate leads. Do this 4-piece chart, and I guarantee you guys will see increased productivity. You'll see your business start to flourish, and you'll just become an overall better side hustler because you are building such, self-awareness, really, such a higher level than most people are willing to do. So while the competition is struggling to be productive and grow, you're on the fast track because you've got everything listed out, you're equally weighted, and you're ready to make some money. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Passion, Pain, and Personal Finance, and I'll talk to you soon.